Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate
Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Narayanam
Narayanam
Namaskrityam.
Namaskrityam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram
Naram
Chaivam
Chaiva Narottamam.
Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim
Devim
Saraswatim
Saraswatim
Vyasam.
Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudirayat.
Tato
Tato
Jayam Udirayat.
Jayamutirahi.
Nashtaprayasva Bhadresu.
Nashtaprayesu
Nashtaprayeshu
Abhadresu.
Bhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam
Nityam
Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Sevaya.
Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttamasloke.
Bhagavate
Bhagavati
Uttamasloke.
Uttamasloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir
Bhaktir
Bhavati
Bhavati
Naishtiki.
Naistiki.
Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, title Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. And today's verse is verse number 19. Jnanam karma cha karta cha
Jnanam
Jnanam
karma cha
karma cha
karta
karta
cha.
cha.
tridaiva gunavedata
Hridaiva
Daiva Gunaveta.
Gunabhedataha.
prachyate guna sankhyane
Vakshate
Achyate Guna
Gunasankhyane.
Sankhyaane.
yat vakshrunutani api.
Yathavasrunutanyapि.
Tanyapi.
Jnanam karma cha karta cha
Jnanam
Jnanam
karma
karma
cha
cha
karta
karta
cha.
cha.
tridaiva gunavedata
Hridaiva
Daiva
Gunabhedataha.
Gunabhedataha.
prachyate guna sankhyane
Vakshate
Achyate Guna
Gunasankhyaने.
Sankhyaane.
Yathyavad Shrunushanyaphi.
Yathavasrunutanyapि.
Tavachrunusthanyapi.
Anyone would like to lead?
Jnanam karma cha karta cha.
Jnanam
Jnanam karma cha
cha
karta
karta
cha
cha.
Hridaiva Gunabhedataha.
Daiva
Hrideva gunavedata
Gunabhedataha.
Uchyate Gunasankhyaने.
Prachyate guna
Sankhyaane.
sankhyane
Yathavasrunutanyapि.
Yathavat Shrunushanyaphi.
Tanyapi.
ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च
Jnanam
Jnanam
karma
Jnanam
karma
cha
cha
karma cha
karta
karta
cha.
cha.
kartata
हृदैव गुणभेदतः
Hridaiva
Trideva
Tridaiva
Gunabhedataha.
gunavedata
Gunabhedataha.
रच्यते गुणसङ्ख्याने
Uchyate
Prachyate
Prachyate
Guna
guna
Gunasankhyaने.
Sankhyaane.
sankhyane
यथावत् शृणुतान्यपि
Yathavat
Yathavasrunutanyapि.
Shrunutanyapi.
Tanyapi.
Thank you. Word by word meaning Jnanam, knowledge.
Jnanam
Jnanam
knowledge.
knowledge.
knowledge
Karma, work.
Karma
कर्म
work.
Karma work.
Cha, also.
Cha
Cha
also.
also.
Karta, worker.
कर्ता
Karta
Karta
worker.
वर्कर
worker.
Cha, also.
Cha
Cha
also.
also.
Tridha, of three kinds.
Tridha
Tridha
of
of
three
three
of three
kinds
kinds.
kinds.
Eva, certainly.
Eva
Eva
certainly.
certainly.
Guna Bhedata, in terms of different modes of material nature.
Guna
Gunabhedata
Vedata
in
in
terms of
terms of
different
different
modes
modes
of
of
material
material
nature.
nature.
Pruchyate, are said.
पृच्छते
Uchyate
Prachyate
अर्थे
are
are
said.
said.
Guna Sankhyane,
Guna
Guna
Sankhyaane.
Sankhyaane.
in terms of different modes.
in
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 terms of
terms
terms
of
of
different
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 modes
modes.
modes.
Yathavat,
Yathavat.
Yathavat.
as they are.
as
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 they
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 are
are.
are.
Shrunu,
Prunu.
Shruno.
Sunu
here.
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 Tani,
Tani.
Tani.
Tani
all of them.
All
All
of
of
them.
them.
Api,
Api.
Api
Api.
also.
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 also
Translation by Divyan Gizasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
According to the three modes, according to
the
three
three
different
modes
modes
According to the three different
different
modes
modes
of material nature,
of
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 material
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 nature.
nature.
nature,
there are three kinds of knowledge:
There are
there
There
three
are
are
three
three
kinds of
kinds
kinds
of
of
knowledge:
knowledge.
knowledge:
action
action
Action.
and performer of action.
and
Performer of
performer of
action.
action.
Now hear of them from me.
Now
Now
hear
hear
of
of them
them
from me.
from me.
Really, Prabhuji or Mataji would like to read this purport by His Divine Grace.
In
in
the
this
fourth,
yes,
in the
please.
yeah. In the 14th chapter, the three divisions of the modes of material nature were elaborately described. In that chapter, it was said that the mode of goodness is illuminating, the mode of passion materialistic, and the mode of ignorance conducive to laziness and indolence. All the modes of material nature are binding. They are not source of liberation. Even in the mode of goodness, one is conditioned. In the 17th chapter, the different types of worship by different types of men in different modes of material nature were described. In this verse, the Lord says that He wishes to speak about the different types of knowledge, workers, and work itself according to the three material modes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Let's all chant together. Ajnana-timirandasya
Andasya
Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utavadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishaka Vitamsha He Krishna
He
Karuna
Krishna Karuna
Sindhu
Sindhu
Dinabandhu
Dinabandhu
Jagatpate
Jagatpate
Kisha Gopika Kanta
Radha Kanta
Radha
Namaste
Namaste Tapta
Tapta
Kanchana
Kanchana
Gaurani
Gaurani
Radhe
Radhe
Vrindavaneshwari
Vrindavaneshwari
Vrishabhanusuti
Vrishabhanusuti
Devi
Devi
Pranamami Hari
Hari
Priye
Priya
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Kripa Sindhuveva Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Namo
Namo Jai Shri
जय
Krishna
श्री
Jai
Krishna
कृष्ण
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
चैतन्य
Prabhu
Prabhu
प्रभु
Nityananda
Nityananda
नित्यानंद
Shri
श्री
Advaita
Advaita
अद्वैत
Gadadhar
Gadadhara
गदाधर
Shivasadi
श्रीवासादि
Srivastadi
Gaura
गौर
Bhakta
भक्त
Vrinda
वृंद
Hare
हरे
Hare
Krishna
कृष्णा
Hare
Krishna
हरे
Hare
Krishna
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 कृष्णा
Krishna
Krishna
कृष्णा
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare
Hare
Rama
हरे
Rama
Hare
Hare
रामा
Rama
Rama
हरे
Rama
रामा
Rama
Rama
राम
Rama
Hare
Hare
राम
Hare
Hare
हरे हरे
Nilachal Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadra
बलभद्र
Bhim
सुभद्राभ्याम
Jagannatha
जगन्नाथ इति
So thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha. And as we're discussing every day, as we're getting to the close of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, the last chapter, we are discussing every verse because Krishna is summarizing in every verse what he has spoken. And here Krishna is saying Jnana Karma Chakartata. In the past verses, Krishna spoke about six things, three Jnana related and three Karma related. Now he is taking the six and is saying Jnanam Karma Chakartata. And from now on, he is going to condense this six into three Jnanam, Karma, Karta. Trideva Guna, and he would use this three condensed from the six we discussed and will map it to Trideva Guna Veda. So that means we have three gunas. Uh, Mode of goodness, sattvic, mode of passion, rajasic, mode of ignorance, tamasic. So he's going to map in the next verses these three condensed items into the modes. So what is jnana in goodness? Passion, ignorance, three verses. Karma, goodness, karma, passion, karma, ignorance. Karta, goodness, karta, passion, karta, ignorance. So next 9 verses, Krishna is going to systematically map these three modes into each of these three condensed actions. Prochyate guna sankhyaane yatvachit shrunu tanya. Shrunu means you hear from me. Krishna is telling to Arjuna that how I'm going to explain what is knowledge in mode of goodness, what is jnanam, what is knowledge in mode of passion, what is knowledge in mode of ignorance, what is karma in mode of goodness, and what is karma means work. What is work in mode of passion? What is work in mode of ignorance? And karta, karta means worker. What is who is a typical worker in mode of goodness? Who is a typical worker in good of passion? And who is a typical worker in mode of ignorance? So beautiful 9 verses are going to emanate from the summary. So if you observe Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is the greatest writer, speaker, message giver. There is no one who gives messages so beautifully because of all the people, Arjuna was very confused. Arjuna needed a very systematic, thorough understanding of the entire process of knowledge, action, devotion, and what goes in together with it. So Arjuna had to be systematically, Arjuna is a bright person. When bright people are confused, they have hundreds and thousands of questions. So Krishna had to present it in such a way that Arjuna can understand. And how beautifully Krishna has condensing the subject matter, expanding the subject matter. You would hear, if you follow a systematic study of Bhagavad Gita, as we are attempting to do on Saturday evenings, taking sloka after sloka. Before 18th, we were mostly doing the top 108 verses as per PrabhupadaGita.com. PrabhupadaGita.com has top 108 verses. So we used to take all of that. But as it became to the summary, we have started analyzing every verse by verse in chapter 18. That's why it's going to take 50 more weeks to complete this, because we have around 50 more verses left. So here Krishna is saying jnana karma cha karta cha trideva guna vedata prachyate guna sankhyane yatvach shrunu tannepi. So what did we talked in chapter 18.18? Krishna talks about the six things. What are the six things Krishna spoke about? Krishna spoke about knowledge, jnana. Then within jnana, there are three things: the knowledge, the objective of knowledge, and a knower of the knowledge. And then in the karma, there are also three things. And what are those three things? So in action, karma, karanam, the instrument by which action is done; karma, which is the action; and karta, the doer. So you have the doer, the action, and the instrument by which action is done. So there are three things there. And in knowledge, you have the knowledge, the objective of knowledge, what is knowledge leading us to, and the knower of the knowledge, the person who knows the knowledge. So out of the six we discussed in 18.18, Krishna in this verse is condensing those six into three. How Krishna is condensing? Krishna has so what are the six items? Jnana, Jnana, Parijnata. That means knowledge, the impetus of the action, and knower. And the action, what are the three things in action? Karanam, the instrument or the senses; action; and doer. So out of which Krishna is redundant, making the three in yellow on the screen redundant. How he's going to make it redundant, we are going to discuss a little bit. So this verse is going to be a little technical. And once we go through the technicalities, how Krishna is mapping to the different modes, the subsequent verses, how he is leading from here, how he's launching from here, will be very easy for us to understand. So he's saying Parigyata, the number three, is the person who is knowing. So, and then he is doing, right? So in that sense, Parigyata and Karta are the same. So number three is embedded with number six. And Karanam and Gaya. Karanam means senses and matter. Gaya are also same. So Jnana is related to Jnanendriyas and karma is related to Karmendriyas. So Jnana is related to our thought process, and through the thought process, once the knowledge is acquired, we use hands, we use a machine, we use the activities around the explanation of the karma through the Karmendriyas to do the action. So finally, Jnana, Karma, Chakarta. So these three are kept separate because they are different. Parigyata is combined with karta, and Gyeya and Karman are dead matter, practically speaking. So, object of knowledge and instrument of knowledge, this Krishna doesn't include because they are just dead matter. Because they are dead matter, they're impersonal in nature. So, we are not considering. So, here, if you see Gyeya and Karanam, there is no personalization of that. So, when Bhagavad Gita has to be understood, it has to be understood from a personalization concept. Bhagavad Gita is for personalities. It's for to define our character, define purity in our character, consciousness in our character. So anything which is impersonal, like Jnaya and Karanam, Krishna is just leaving it aside. So Krishna is taking this analysis from a transformational perspective, and that is why his focus is on what can be transformed. So anything which cannot be transformed for that matter, he's just leaving it aside. Gyeya, Parigyata, Karanam. So he is leaving it aside, and he is going to take knowledge, jnana, karma, karta, and will go forward in the subsequent verse. So this, once this is understood uh, to a great deal, then we can talk about how the primary colors, red, yellow, blue, define the outcome. You can take these primary colors in various different ways, like the blue and red leads to magenta, green and red leads to white, yellow, and blue and green lead to cyan. So you can basically mix some modes with another mode to come up with a new mode. So that's why all of us have some mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And with the mode of goodness, we end up having the right knowledge, which Srila Prabhupada is so beautifully mentioning here, that in the mode of goodness, even if it's we are conditioned. So in that case, Bali Maharaj, for example, Bali Maharaj was full of goodness, but he was so conditioned that he had that inherent feeling that he is a very pious person who is charitable in nature. And Vamanadev understood that, and he took everything away through his 3 feet. So in the mode of goodness, even if it's conditioned, but it's illuminating. Bali Maharaj, even if he was cursed and the entire lokas of Bali Maharaj were taken away by Vamanadev, but he still revered as a person. He is not condemned like Hiranyakashipu or Hiranyakya for that matter. He's still revered because he's illuminating. What it is saying is mode of goodness is also conditioning. Sometimes person is too much into mode of goodness. He has this ahankar that he's so humble, he's so charitable, and this is what some of our acharyas have mentioned to control it. When we are doing very well, when our chanting is right, when we are regulated, when we are doing a lot of things right, it is inherent that people give you that element of poise and respect, and that poise and respect we should not get into our head, and that will derail us from the humility. So the mode of goodness, even if it's illuminating, we have to be careful against. And also, Srila Prabhupada mentions the mode of passion is focused around getting more money, material, houses, stock, this. So mode of passion is some persons are very passionate. They go up to eventually leave the company at a situation where the top is in doldrums. So the mode of passion gets you a lot of material values, but those people are never happy. Those people have a lot of anxiety, and so on and so forth. And the mode of ignorance is fostering laziness, for example. They are always in dark, and they enjoy being dark. They want to enjoy being lazy. They do not they're not clean, and they lead a life of uh, sheer dirt and laziness and so on and so forth. So their actions are going to be different, their knowledge is going to be different, and those people are also different. And that is why we have varnashram. That's why Krishna mentions about varnashram. So that's why we have to recognize that these three topics are going to be taken and will be used for adding more flavor around different modes. Things around goodness are the people who have self-control, passion have a lot of lust, ignorance have a lot of anger, and so on and so forth. So we'll go deep into that, but all I'm saying is Krishna is trying to condense those six items and into knowledge, action, and doer. Knowledge, without knowledge, there's no action, and the action cannot be done in void. It has to be done by a person. So when people mention that the God is a void and there is no form, this, that, and all, so if the God is void, then how did he create this beautiful universe? When he is professing that there is a doer in everything, there's a hand of someone in everything, and then there is Paramatma who is the fifth item in every activity, as we mentioned, Adhisthanam. It's basically the body, and the karta, the doer, the karana, the senses, and then you have the endeavor, and then there is super soul. So there is person everywhere actually. So that's why if Krishna is explaining to karta, he's recognizing that there is a person in everything we end up doing, and how come the supreme person who has done everything is not a person. So those are all different digressions, but here Krishna is summarizing and condensing that from now on we are going to talk about knowledge, action, and doer, which are uh, which are the cornerstone for how these three things, when mingled with the different modes, behave differently. So it's a behavioral situation. Arjuna is listening to Krishna explaining, and based on that knowledge, Arjuna will be equipped with the fact that it is just not the chesta or endeavor which will get you there. It is the act of the five items which will uh, together give us success in our pursuit of whatever we end up doing, whether we're pursuing for happiness, whether we're pursuing for devotional service. That's why we have to always pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Cause, to help us in our ability to be successful in whatever we do. That includes our bhakti, because unless our superiors, our Supreme Personality, and his entourage, the acharyas, are not happy, our devotional service will crumble one day. So that's why we live in a society where we have to take everything thinking that I have the power to make a breakthrough in bhakti through my actions without the blessings of the Supreme and the superiors. It's actually not going to work. Then it is morphing into something else full of ahankar, and yeah, we have been and we are behaving as if the materialistic person, without thinking about our softness in bhakti, which basically fosters our ability to one. Unless we are soft, we cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his words and actions, and internalize it in our ability to use this knowledge in our day-to-day life properly. uh, how we should what we should do so that we transcend into mode of goodness in our knowledge acquisition, in our action in our personality as a karta, and likewise what we should not do as a in the mode of passion, the knowledge and the action, and the karta who is doing passionate activities. So the do's and don'ts will be revealed. So we'll have 9 verses, 9 weeks of upcoming interesting session wherein uh, we'll analyze what the Supreme Personality of God is saying for each of these 3 things, mapping with the 3 modes of intelligence. So with that, I would like to end here. Stay focused and keep your questioning, keep your curiosity coming, because more and more we internalize these 3 things mapped to the 3 modes of material nature, we will understand everything about Krishna consciousness, and it will give us strength to do our devotional activities and internalize that in our day-to-day life, so that we can get rid of some of the anarthas like ahankar, and be humble in our ability to do any service, and it will make us better practitioners of bhakti. So with that, I'd like to end here. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
The 11th slide that you were showing, Prabhuji.
Mhm.
So, how to understand that? So, I see that left side Arjuna is there, then the 3 gunas is there, and then the idea is there. So, how
Mhm.
to understand means take the message from this slide, Prabhuji?
Right.
Everything, for everything he has respect.
So, Prabhu, the adhisthana, right? There are 5 things. So,
Yeah.
adhisthana is the place of action. It's basically the body, right?
Mhm.
So, it's the body which is doing the action. In this context, it's the body, the place of action, the karta in that sense, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And when we talk, and the second thing, see, unless you have a body, we cannot do any action. But then it is basically the doer, which is nothing but the soul. Then the soul may have everything, but if the senses are not controlled, if the hand, you may have the eye, but if you do not have the sense to see, then the instrument of action is not attaining, is not aligning. Then how and how much endeavor you put to that activity, and then you need to have the blessing. So the way we should understand this is there are 5 things which goes into the outcome of any action. So any action we end up doing, you need to have a good body, and you need to have a good soul. You need to have senses, not hands shivering. Sometimes when we age, we cannot do some activities properly. So the senses have to be right. Our soul have to be uh, modeled to do things nicely. We need to have a nice body. That's why they say the body is the temple where in the heart the Supreme Personality of Godhead lives. So you have to maintain your body. So for that, if you have to do some breathing or whatever exercise or whatever, so do it. But that should not be the primary. But you need a decent body, you need a good soul, you need to have good senses, and you need to be enthusiastic and you're full of endeavor. And then finally, based on your prior history, prarabdha karma, super soul is going to bless your activity or not. So there are 5 things which I think we discussed 4 5 verses before, but it's all dovetailing into this. So whatever
Got
Krishna is saying, that's why I wanted to put this slide, that we should not think that I gave everything for this job, but I was not successful and I become frustrated, because that is exactly, that's why Krishna consciousness person knows that the endeavor is just 20% of the entire game. The 80% depends on so many other things, and a Krishna consciousness person understands this. So whenever there is failure, He understands that even if I gave my chesta, but maybe there are some anarthas, maybe my prarabdha karma was not right, and I was not a great person last life, and that is really getting into this. So by not getting success, Krishna consciousness person is happy because I'm getting rid of the mortgage, so that I will be mortgage free, interest free after some time. So that's why Krishna consciousness person, this when a lot of happiness comes, Krishna consciousness person thinks, what is happening? Why is Krishna bestowing it? Maybe there is something bad news which is coming, because the happiness and sadness is like Sita Ushna Sukha Dukkha, right? Sita Ushna Sukha Dukkha. It's like winter and summer season. So if there is a too much of happiness, maybe some bad news is coming. So Krishna consciousness person gets alerted. Others can't. And that's the power of the slide, if that helps.
Got it, Prabhu. Prabhu, another question, Prabhu. So, are we human being? Which guna we should be like out of the three modes?
See, we are, so that is exactly this slide, which, so, so we are, so the gunas are like primary colors. So we are a mixture of, see, our varnashram, Krishna made varna and ashram, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Ashrama is Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, right? And you have the X and Y axis, IJ matrix. So earlier, the people were focusing on that Varna and Ashram very perfectly. So that's why the Brahmanas at that time, I don't mean Brahmanas by caste, I'm meaning Brahmanas by Varna, were very potent. People are seeking, but soon the Brahmanas become greedy and they started creating problems of division within the society. And because of that, caste system erupted, which Krishna never talked about caste system. Krishna talked about varnashram. So to answer your question, we have these three primary colors. You can make anything out of it actually, depending on the proportion. So if we modulate our life properly in a Krishna conscious environment, based on the teachings of our acharyas, like His Divine Grace, and our Gurudev and everyone, our Gurudev in our many Gurudevs in our movement, then we have a method to transcend. So I'll just give a practical example. In the morning, you wake up, your mind is calm, and your mind is calm, you're responding to everyone correctly. As the day progresses and some of the meetings don't go well, you become agitated, you become angry. And by the time it is evening, it is in a mode of ignorance, you don't remember anything. So the moral of the story is we have everything, we have everything. And how we pack the mode of goodness into our life goes a lot in aligning our Krishna consciousness properly. So we are in all modes, to answer your question, and it should have been by Varnashram, but we are not Brahmanas anymore. We are all Sudras. We are basically service providers. We are service providing to some company here and there. So in that sense, Srila Prabhupada says, in this age of Kali, we are mostly Sudras. So, but still, there is benefit that we have this Harinam, this. So when the level is degrading, the passing score is low. And with the passing score, we have this Harinam, which is so powerful. So as long as we keep up regulation in our life, keep up Harinam in our life, keep up Krishna consciousness like the practice, Vishla Prabhupada, the mode of goodness will get better and better and better. And we'll get into a habit of getting better. The mode of goodness has to be made into a habit so that it shows in everything. And that's how I take it, Prabhu. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Any comments? We have so many devotees. Any comments, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hey, Krishna.
Hare Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Udandat Pranam, All Krishna Prabhu.
The mapping from 9 to 3 lessons. So that's interesting. And so he's saying that as you go through, we'll get to more in detail into the next slokas, right?
Yes, yes. So Prabhuji, 18.20 will be knowledge in mode of goodness. 21 will be knowledge in passion. 22 will be knowledge in ignorance. Then will be action in goodness. Then the next verse will be, and this is not new. If you have been attending our classes, you'll realize that Krishna has exhibited that in various different, like food habits. I think in the prior chapter, Krishna talks about food habits in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. So likewise, the next 9 verses will be knowledge, action, and the doer of the action. So we'll have 9 beautiful verses by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where we'll go into detail. And Krishna and Lord Krishna has done this in the past also. So now, with so many, our acharyas have beautifully explained. And so this is how Krishna has emphasized the angle of mode in our life, how to stay more in the mode of goodness, how to be humble and all that. So we'll have a lot to learn from that, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Bhakti Ratnakara, you wanted to say something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad Pranam, Guru Srila Prabhupada and all Vaishnavas. Prabhuji, yes, thank you for explaining, especially the 3 modes where, the 3 of the 6 you have, how Krishna has emphasized on the 3 and took out the other 3. That was not very evident from the shloka, Prabhuji, but thanks for explaining that. Means it is in the shloka, but it takes an understanding to get to that, to delineate that basically. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. That's what I wanted to.
Thank you, Prabhu. All Krishna Prabhupada.
All
Any other comments, questions, thoughts, reflections?
Prabhuji, only challenge is that when we try to practice, I don't know how we can get this clarity, what you explained, Prabhuji, like take out this means, because we mostly are Jnana Mishra, what we call, means we are in the mixed modes, Prabhuji. Though Krishna explained the 3 modes distinctly, but we operate in a mixed mode, Prabhuji. We don't operate in a clarity, means we are not in complete 100% ignorance, or we are not in complete 100% goodness, or we are not in complete. So the challenge, at least for me, is, Prabhuji, we are in mixed modes, right? So that clarity we have to means figure out, Prabhuji, individually, right?
Yes. So as you know, as you may have experienced, Prabhu, all our bodies, our conditioning, our upbringing is so different, and we have a lot of liking. You'll be amazed. We have some great devotees, but some of the devotees, because of the conditioning, the second weekend or the first weekend of February, when the Super Bowl comes, they just can't do their service. It is not there's nothing wrong about it. Let me be very clear about it. Super Bowl is typically on the first weekend of February. This year, because
Tomorrow,
of
Prabhuji.
extra game, it's tomorrow. It's the second week, because I remember in the first weekend of February in 2006, when Lord Jagannath was installed in ICNJ, ISKCON of Central New Jersey, there was Super Bowl. But in spite of the Super Bowl, the Edison First Aid Squad, which had a capacity of 80 or 100, was getting so much filled that our core devotees had to step out so that the new devotees could get in. That was the 4th February 2006 and the 5th February 2006, exactly 18, 19 years ago. So everybody, by virtue of the goodness, turned themselves from Super Bowl to Hari Bol. Everybody changed. So the thing is, these enticements will come in our life, but we have a method to this madness by staying as connected with devotees, staying as connected with the scriptures, and staying as connected with our acharyas and our gurus. Our founder acharya, Srila Prabhupada, is a preeminent acharya. So he is our preeminent Shiksha Guru in our movement. Whoever may be our local or remote Guru, but Srila Prabhupada is our preeminent Guru. So through Srila Prabhupada's link, more and more we associate, more and more we read Lilamrit, more and more we read the book of teachings of Chaitanya by Srila Prabhupada, or Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. We build a relationship actually. A lot of these doubts in our mind will get clear as we dwell more and more into Srila Prabhupada's books. So, in order to this tottering because of Jnana Mishra Bhakti and because of the day-to-day life, as long as we follow the tools we have through the temple in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam class in 6:30 to 7 in the morning through Zoom, or 7 to 8 evening class. Srila Prabhupada instituted that in the beginning we will have Srimad Bhagavatam, in the evening we'll have Bhagavad Gita, and because of COVID, all these new channels came. So as long as we and we have Bhakti Vriksha, where we have a close knit 7-8 devotees we are discussing. So this will make us, because ours is not our movement is not about any mystic magic here and there. Ours is you follow this, you'll go back to Godhead. It's as simple as that. It's the most practical scientific process. It's not some magic or something, you stand upside down. It's a very practical method. We all can chant. We all can introduce a relationship with the Supreme in our houses, and we can always read the words of what Supreme Personality of God has said, and through that process we can go back to Godhead. So to answer your question, we have this challenge, but let's use the tools to get it right. Is that okay, bro?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you, bro, for the question. Any other comments, reflections? So next week we have Kirtan Love Fest in our temple. 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, 17th February, 18th February. And there will be a lot of activities, a lot of new devotees will come to the temple, because the world's top kirtaniyas are coming to the temple from very different places. They're flying in or wherever they are. So it is going to be a big milestone event in our temples. Some great kirtaniyas will be on display, displaying their art, displaying their devotion, displaying their mood, and there will be musical extravaganza in the form of wonderful tunes of kirtan and beautiful things next Saturday, Sunday. So we'll see how it goes. I'll talk to Bhakti Ratnagar Prabhu, should we have, or Niranjan Prabhu, or Pratap Prabhu, Rohit Prabhu, Bala Prabhu, Mataji, to find out the pulse, and based on that, I'll send out the message. But you can visit anytime. It's 12 to 9. So if we want to have a discussion about 18.20, which is the next, then we can have it, and you can visit the Kirtan Love Fest at a different time. So that's a big event in our temple's calendar, and please.
I will plan for the day visit, Prabhuji, because I will take family also. And
Okay.
evening, if you're having the Bhagavad Gita class, I can join.
Okay, definitely. We can do that. So thank you for that suggestion. And and uh, and we have a wonderful speaker from Pune, ISKCON Pune, Radhesham Prabhu. He has devised so many courses, curriculum, and he is one of the leaders of ISKCON Pune. He is coming to our temple, uh, and he's giving a wonderful katha on the 14th of February, the Valentine's Day. So don't miss that in the temple. Radhesham Prabhu is a wonderful speaker. And the next day, if I remember correctly, 15th, is Advaita Acharya's appearance day, the Panchatattva, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Acharya, who is like a fatherly age of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At the time, there was a lot of challenges, a lot of apasampradayas, and he literally prayed for the Lord to come, and he prayed for hours and hours and hours, and because of his prayers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So his appearance day in the Panchatattva, in the Gaurnitai altar, the leftmost personality is Sri Advaita Acharya. So 15th evening, there is a program in our temple. There is Abhishek, there is Katha on glorifying Advaita Acharya, and also there is Prasadam. So 14th Radhasyam Prabhu, 15th Advaita Acharya appearance day, 17th, 18th is Kirtan Love Fest with eminent world-class Kirtaniyas performing their topmost passionate art and devotion in front of the devotees. So a lot of programming, so please make the most of it. And these are the tools which will get us back to the mode of goodness, which Prabhuji was asking question about. So make the most of the tools. If there is no other comments and questions, we'll end here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhuji, in the Kirtan, right, like 17, 18, right, you told, like 2 days, right? So there is one Kirtaner from Mayapur. I heard his name. He is coming from Mayapur, right? To I don't remember his name. Do you know like when he's coming exactly, on 17 or 18?
Yeah, the schedule, Prabhu. Once I know, I'll put it in the Bhakti Vriksha WhatsApp group. I'll definitely know in 2-3 days.
Oh, okay. And also Nityanand Trayodasi also coming up. Yeah.
That is next week. That is
Next week. Okay.
That is next week. And I will have announcement for that if we have it. And if I get the flyer, I'll send it. It is a week later. So I think it's on the 21st or something. So it's after that week. We'll have this a lot of discussion around Nityanand Prabhu, because Gaur Nitai is Nityanand Prabhu, and he's very merciful. We will have some discussion around that. Thank you for reminding that.
Yes, thank you.
So let's end here by offering obeisances at the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas by saying Vancha Kalpataru Vasya Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Krishna Vrinda ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.